Here we're into the second week of isolation, and many people are finding that this is the point where the struggles are starting. The first few days, it was okay, just kind of chilling at home, taking it easy, a time to just slow down a little bit. And now the frustration is starting to kick in. People are starting to feel like they need to get outside because they can't stand being at home. Now, the problem isn't actually that there's anything wrong with home. The problem is just that they're by themselves too much. They're starting to become conscious of the lack of balance that they may have within themselves, the lack of peace they may have within themselves, lack of focus. And with the normal pattern of life, all the distractions make it easier to forget those things. And now they're becoming quite clear. That means now is the time to do something about them. Yoga can be a huge help towards this. Now, if you're thinking of learning yoga, you can either go and look online for somebody who's conducting a program by Skype or by Zoom, where you'll be watching on your computer, trying to follow at the same time. They can't tell what you're doing. You might be trying to copy their advanced asanas and you've never done it before. You might get confused, but you can't really ask the questions. And that's going to open up a whole group of potential problems. Or you could go with something that's been prepared well in advance of this crisis, something that was prepared very systematically with a lot of care and attention, where the instructions are very, very clear and the practices themselves are so simple that you can't do yourself any damage. This is what I'd like to recommend to you. So there's a group of practices called Upa Yoga. Upa Yoga is not the advanced contortionist kind of yoga practices that you might see on the internet. Upa Yoga means sub-yoga or baby yoga. So don't be looking for anything that's too flashy, that's going to impress other people. This is about creating the you that you want to be, about enhancing your peace, your balance, your stability, your focus, those kind of aspects. And there are practices which have each of those benefits. So there's yoga for peace, there's yoga for love, there's yoga for joy, these different qualities that you might need. You can do the practices either by themselves or in a sequence. So the way I'm going to suggest to you right now is where they're put together in a sequence so that you can understand the most conducive order if you were going to do all of the practices together. You can find this sequence on my website. If you go to nanowellbeing.ch, go to the programs section and then free online tab. You'll find the sequences both in English with English instruction and in French with French instruction. So you can even share these with your French speaking friends. There's a general introduction at the beginning about yoga, what actually yoga is. Then there's an introduction to each of the practices, a demonstration with very clear visuals, very clear instructions, and guided instructions so that you can do it along with the instructions. You don't need to remember what to do. And somebody will help you with the pacing, with the breathing, giving you all the things that you need to remember. It's a very safe, very simple way of starting with yoga. And these practices can be done even by children age 7 and up. It's a fantastic introduction to yoga, very safe, very well made, and the source couldn't be better. All of the practices come from Sadhguru. So you know the authenticity of the source. It's not something that's been put together just in a day or two or even a week while this crisis has been developing in Europe. This is something that's been put together with a lot of care and attention to detail so that it can only bring benefit to you. So please make use of this. And once I'm able to travel again, or once I'm able to meet people in person, then of course I'll be conducting live sessions where I can see what you're doing. There'll be a face-to-face interaction and live transmission can happen. Until then, Upa Yoga is a very good way of starting and something that can bring you to the peace and equanimity that you're going to need to get through this period of isolation. It's not all that you need. Of course, you need to do some exercise as well, so you can do running on the spot and things like this for your heart, for the cardiovascular system. But in terms of your mental and emotional health, this will be a tremendous, tremendous support. Please make use of it and share the information with your friends and family.